Hi, welcome to Kaiwaa Productions in the Health and Fitness series. My name is Dr. SANJEEV Bagai. I'm a practicing clinical physician as a pediatrician and pediatric nephrologist and a healthcare administrator, being in clinical medicine for the last 3.5 decades. At the present moment, I'm the chairman of Nephron Clinics based out of New Delhi. I'll be speaking today on a technology and an avenue in healthcare called as digital smart technology. First off, to give you a capture view of the Indian healthcare. Indian healthcare is at the present moment going and expanding by binary fission. We have only 2% of the land mass globally, but 21% of the disease burden and 20% of the global population base within India. Therefore, there is a huge need gap. We need more number of doctors, we need more number of beds, we need more number of facilities, not only in the tertiary care and the quaternary care, but more so in the secondary and the primary care, that is outside metros, in smaller villages, tier 2, tier 3 towns, and in areas which are remote to link with the major metropoles. Keeping that in mind, India is a very, very vast and expansive country. Healthcare, what we talk in terms of the 3 big A's, which is affordable, accessible and accredited healthcare, is now very fast moving to primary, preventive, predictive and personal healthcare, which means healthcare which we consider 10 years, 15 years, 20 years back as being a rational use of certain medication need not work in the same disease in all patients. So therefore, the medicines now have become more precise. When you talk in terms of technology, what is actually technology? Technology in healthcare is anything which we use in terms of gadgets, equipments, internet or any other innovation which gives quicker results, better results at a more affordable rate to the patient. When you talk in terms of digital technology, it basically helps healthcare delivery people like us and professionals in 4 basic avenues. One is better clinical outcomes. So this is what we call as clinical excellence. Second is operational excellence. That means hospitals, doctors and nursing homes can deliver the same medical care at better operational value. That means at a cheaper cost to the patient. 3, a better patient experience. That means the patient has a more comfort zone while entering into the hospital or private healthcare or a government healthcare facility and is not intimidated or is not lost in a long crowd. And 4, most importantly, is better nursing care, which is the backbone of all healthcare delivery systems. When you come to digital smart technology, what does it actually do? It gives you a much better utilization of patient beds, almost 50% better utilization of operation theatre beds. It gives you much better clinical results in terms of 33% better clinical results. That means the value of the treatment to give long-term better results is much better. It gives much lesser hospital-acquired infection. It gives error-free medication, and the medical element in terms of human errors is almost eliminated. So any technology which gives you healthcare, which gives you clinical results in a better format at a cheaper rate makes logical sense. I always say that digital smart technology is not an expenditure, it's an investment. You get an appropriate return on investment on this, and the best thing is that the patients are there to benefit from it. A large chunk of hospitals have a very detailed format of very high-end radiological lab monitoring equipment. This technology interlinks all the equipments from the radiology, from the CT scans, from the MRIs, from the ultrasounds and the labs right onto the patient door, which we call as remote monitoring. It can link down to the doctor's houses, into the patient's rooms, into the operation theaters. So this is what we call as seamless integration of technology. In a flash, you can access any report at any point of time through any data access point from the hospital or outside the hospital to intervene and give better clinical care. In today's world, a lot of people have been using words like artificial intelligence, augmented thinking. What are these terms? When you talk in terms of artificial intelligence is something which makes the mind, your brain, work at a faster pace and decreases the errors in terms of calculation, in terms of decision making, and in terms of doses. So what we call as AI, as artificial intelligence, is making a computer in the background think for you, remove the unnecessary and irrelevant data, and give you finer clinical diagnosis, better lab values, better interpretation of reports, and the latest protocols, especially in areas like oncology, which is cancer care, cardiology, neurology, and so on. AI has now come a long way, and it is a part and parcel, an integral part of all hospitals. This helps you in supply chain management, in procurement, in proper use of equipment, proper use of medication, and more importantly, AI is also helping patients in terms of better facilities in the room in which the patient is put at ease. Aspects like virtual thinking, augmented reality are areas which have revolutionized especially operative care, in which a surgeon can actually visualize the interiors of the body much before the real surgery starts. This gives a distinct edge to the surgeons, in which the exact anatomy, the organs are visualized, and you get much better clinical results. You also have various kind of medical apps which are on the cell phones for the doctors, for the nurses. In a flash of a second, you can get the latest protocols to give patients the latest treatments without wasting any time. You also have various aspects of genomics. Now, genomics is something which, again, this has revolutionized the way a patient behaves in terms of response to any treatment. So your genomics is based on your basic structure of your DNA. Through simple lab tests, we can actually figure out which cancer patient or which type is going to respond to which medication at which point of time. So this comes to precision care, this comes to target therapy, this comes to nanotherapy, which is the latest trend, especially in oncology avenues all over the world. Genomics with AI, that is checking the patient's DNA enhanced with artificial intelligence, gives us the finest treatment in these high-end avenues. You also have various aspects of things like regenerative medicine, which is actually the big daddy of stem cell therapy. Regenerative medicine is a science in digital technology in which you can virtually grow tissues, grow organs from a patient's simple sample of blood and re-engineer tissues to grow into any organ which you want. This, in the next 10 years or 15 years, will actually remove the shortage of blood components, platelet transfusions, transplants, and so on. This is going to be a massive move in the global healthcare scenario. About 5 years, 10 years back, when this full aspect of stem cell therapy had started, regenerative medicine has now grown by leaps and bounds, and there are centers not only overseas but also being established in India, which are actually focusing and harnessing on this technology. You have various aspects within the healthcare systems like data and data analytics. So through this data and analytics, we can actually now predict and say how a particular cohort group of diabetics or hypertension patients or cardiac patients or neurology patients or cancer patients will tend to behave with a certain line of medication. So this gives us opening doors into a huge area of research, especially in the Indian subcontinent, where we know the Indian sub-Asian population behaves differently from the whites in the western areas. We also have a lot of avenues now on sensors and tracking. So every patient now in today's world need not reach the hospital for every small episode of either having a temperature or altered heart rate or a fluctuation of blood pressure. This decompresses the hospitals. This is easier to monitor from home, what we call as ambulatory care or as home care, in which a simple device is worn like a wristwatch on a patient's wrist, and 24/7 all the data, which includes all the parameters of the body, are monitored. It is analyzed by a command center, and an alert is sent to the doctors and to the patient. If required, they can be intervening in a much quicker speed than even before a patient can realize. This also has hugely helped in newborn care, especially in remote areas in which small aspects like apnea or sepsis or infection can be picked up much earlier than otherwise. Digital smart technology also helps us save energy, save electricity, save water, and make the hospitals go green. When you look at an overall aspect of the digital smart technology, the entire avenue has now changed, in which the laptops, in which the desktops are now soon going to become redundant. There are now aspects in which this digital smart technology will make healthcare professionals virtually see different timelines of different radiological imaging like MRIs and CTs virtually on walls which don't exist. This is completely like a science fiction movie, but this is exactly what is happening in most advanced centers overseas. At the end, I would like to say that in terms of digital smart technology, the most important aspect is patient comes first. Are we giving the best care, keeping patient in mind, what we call as patient centricity? Are we following the ethical protocols of medicine, because the patient becomes a part of the decision-making cycle with the healthcare professionals? Are we giving medication which is error-free? Are we giving medicines which are safe, what we call in terms of patient safety? All over the world, including most major private hospital chains and government hospitals, have moved towards this technology in various paths. There are a lot of companies internationally and a lot of new companies which have come up in India who have pushed towards this. Healthcare, if we need to make it a dream coming into a reality, which is healthcare for all, this is one aspect which will take us by leaps and bounds in years to come.